Hey there, welcome to Main Street Living. I'm Cheryl Nelson.
I am Quincy Carr.
And I'm Danielle Alvari.
Hey guys, another week. How is everybody?
I'm doing okay.
I'm hitting the wall, Cheryl, to be honest. I'm hitting the wall. It's been 2 months now. If you can believe it, it's been 2 months. Doesn't it feel like much longer?
It does. It does. I mean, and now that we're heading into summer and the weather is warmer, I mean, I think everybody just wants to just be out and about and doing things.
Yeah, I just want to hit the stage again and tell some jokes instead of just talking to people. Nothing wrong with talking to y'all on the computer screen, but just to be in front of an intimate audience again.
Speaking of talking, I'm sure Quincy was just telling us about some of his interesting experiences on the road. Quincy, what were you telling us about?
Well, like one of my most interesting ones, this happened years ago, but it was at a nudist resort. So I had to perform at a nudist resort, and it was just interesting because Cheryl kind of brought up that she lives in and around, not near it.
Okay, no. I do not live near a nudist colony. Quincy,
do you peek? Do you peek, Cheryl? Like take a little peek. Check it out. Consider it.
Far away. I don't even know how far, what road it's down, but no. And Quincy, I know you perform comedy there, but this whole thing kind of gets me thinking about a study on homes.com where they asked people to rate themselves on how nosy they are regarding their neighbors. So they surveyed 2,500 people in the United States, and 74% of respondents said yes, that they occasionally peek through the blinds and check on their neighbors and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But I guess we probably all do that, right?
No. No, not all. I would just say, because, like I was thinking of my mother-in-law, how she'll hear a noise like a gunshot or just any crazy noise, and she'll run to the door and look out. And then they were talking about the top 10 states with the most nosiest neighbors. And Cheryl, we live in Virginia. We're the 9th nosiest state, according to this thing. But I didn't see California. Y'all don't check to see if things is happening?
No, we mind our business in Los Angeles. Everyone is much too self-absorbed here. You know how it goes in Los Angeles. We are really just focused on our own thing.
But then, not too far away, though, Nevada had the nosiest neighbors.
Yeah. And if you really want to, so Nevada had the nosiest of all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so then the nosiest of the nosiest, generationally, supposed to be Gen Z, the most nosy of the generations. Yes. And so if you're Gen Z in Nevada, do you even get off Instagram? Neighbors.
No wonder. So that's the 18 to 24-year-olds. Everybody wants to know what everybody else is doing, which makes complete sense since, like you said, they're all on social media.
What stays and what happens stays. Right.
And we're itching for contact right now, right? Like, and even people trying to date right now. So something exciting coming up. I know our first interview, I know Miss Cheryl is going to have that for us. We're going to talk about dating during the pandemic.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. For many of us, finding that perfect match is hard to do, but imagine trying to do that during a pandemic. Yeah, maybe some of you are trying to do that and you may or may not have any luck trying that. However, we have an expert now who's going to help us out, and her name is Maureen Tara Nelson, and she is the president of MTN Matchmaking. Wow, such a cool job. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So tell me exactly what a matchmaker does.
Okay, well, there's different types of matchmakers, of course. There are people that have come up to me in the street and said, oh, I've matched my best friends. I've matched 10 people on my own. I've been born to be a matchmaker. And then there are people that actually get certified, which is what I recommend. And then there are people like myself that was formerly a pharmaceutical rep, which led me to become a matchmaker, and then also believe in being certified. So I'm an executive level certified matchmaker, and I've been doing it for 20 years and have over 1,000 success stories. So for me, my life is my children and my matchmaking business. So that's
I
the
love
difference.
this is so cool that you actually have a lot of success. And do you follow up with your matches?
Yes, yes. They're wonderful. We love our clients. I have the greatest team behind me. I even became a wedding officiant for one of our
Oh,
favorite clients just because they asked, would I please marry them? How could I say no to that? And then
right. I mean,
afterwards,
yeah,
right,
yeah, you're a part
right
of their
after I
life
said no.
now.
And
And
then afterwards, everyone said, would you please marry us? And I said, I can't. I work already 7 days a week around the clock. You know that. Where would I possibly find the time to do this? I love you to death. We're happy for you. We'll always be friends. We always have social media. Many
right.
of our clients stay in touch through all the social media that we do. I
Yeah.
just can't do it.
And
So.
social media is huge right now. I mean, obviously with the pandemic, I mean, that's where everybody is going is they're probably trying virtual dating. How has your business changed because of the pandemic? And do you have any tips for people?
Yes, definitely. So before the pandemic, my business was totally different. People would have to come in and meet with us personally, and then they would go on a date, and we would recommend going out 3 times, meeting each other. Then the pandemic happened, and I had to quickly think on my feet. Okay, we're going to have to change things around because I've been doing this too long helping people. And I felt obligated that it is my job in New York for doing this so long that I have to come up with a way to make this work to help people. And I did. So we came up with virtual interviewing. So now people call us from the comfort of their own home for their interview. We have a thorough screening process, which we can get into later, and we go over a analysis of their personality so we can make sure that they're compatible. And then for their dating, we're doing virtual dating.
Mm.
So also, we've come up with a whole bunch of ways to put the romance back in virtual dating.
And, before we go, what advice would you have for people who are looking to meet somebody? I mean, you said 3 times is a great amount of times to go out with somebody, not just one. What if you're turned off after the first date?
Well, I always like to say to people that the first time people are nervous. So, in a business transaction, the first meeting, first impressions count, but not when it comes to dating. And especially now with virtual dating, it could be harder, it could be easier, but again, you're not face to face, you're not touching each other. So you might not be getting the best representation of that person. So give them a second virtual date. Or if you
Yeah.
think that, or yeah, and then maybe a third date, because then that third date, maybe by then you can see each other in person. And I know with my own clients over 20 years, they've said to me, Maureen, it's like a light bulb went off in my head with the third date that now I'm attracted to that person because you need compatibility and chemistry. How did you know that?
Yep. Yep.
Again, through my pharmaceutical trading. So
Yeah, that's so important. And I
always
actually
give 3 dates.
yes, and I had one more quick question. Are
Sure.
people actually who have the COVID-19 antibodies, are they actually putting this on profiles now to try to attract
Um,
people and say that
yes.
they're not sick?
Yes. And also, we did our own survey with our own clients because we always like to be in the foreground of what's hot out there. And 70% of our own clients want to know if someone has had the virus before. And we have a lot of essential workers, for example, doctors, nurses, policemen, and it's actually not like a taboo that you might think. It's actually a good thing. Okay,
Mhm.
we both had it. So that means we don't have to do this virtual dating. We can actually be together because according to the news, hopefully they're being correct in saying we both had it. and hopefully we'll be safe now that we've gone through that. So
Right.
it could be a good thing too.
Yeah, in theory, hopefully that's the case. Gosh, it's been such a pleasure to chat with you. Where
Oh,
can
thank you so
people learn
much.
more about you and get more information?
Well, we have everything on social media. Everything is under MTN Matchmaking. And every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do a free Facebook Live. That's under my personal Facebook, Maureen Tara Nelson. We do it at 2:30, and that's just to spread love all through the country. That's it, because we don't want anyone sad or feeling isolated and not feeling love. So we're spreading love. So if you know anyone that's sad or lonely, just tell them to tune in, and they could ask any dating questions they want. We are there specifically for that reason, to help spread love.
You're so sweet, Maureen. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Obviously, all of us right now kind of stuck at home, working from home. Some of us stuck at home alone, some of us with a lot of people around, or some of us just one roommate. We're just on top of each other, or we're alone. It's a really good time for us to all to be focusing on our mental health, since we have the time, and especially trying to be careful with the people in our lives and make sure that we're reaching out to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, Danielle and Cheryl. Like, how many times have we heard someone say, "You're driving me crazy," and we kind of laugh that off,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's, I see the sarcasm there. Yeah, sure. Well, it's no laughing matter to the good people there at Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse. And here with us today with some answers is Jeff Dismukes. He is a director of marketing there at the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health. How are you today, Jeff?
Doing well. Thank you. How are y'all?
Hey, we are hanging in there, especially during these times. And I can say from personal experience regarding mental health, it doesn't have a face, skin, or color.
Right.
So what effects have you seen on mental health, especially in the midst of a global crisis like right now?
Well, certainly. In Oklahoma, we have high rates of mental illness and addiction anyway. But in this time of year, we actually see some real heightened needs for people to be able to access services. But the pandemic itself has really changed things. It's increased stress. And I think the thing that people need to remember about that is that some of the additional stress that they're feeling, some of the things going on, it's normal. It's okay. But it's when this starts moving to a point where it's really impacting your life, it's making a difference, you're having negative effects, it's important to go ahead and reach out and find help. And here in Oklahoma, we have, similar to around the country, there's different ways to do that. And I don't know that everybody always understands, that services for behavioral health issues, for mental health and addiction, are maybe a little easier to access than what they might think.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, I'm a veteran of the Navy, and that's why I was saying, just from personal experience,
Right.
things that I've dealt with. But during this time, I'm also a creative mind, and when I can't be out and about and creating, now I'm forced to be within myself.
Right.
Any tips for mental health during quarantine?
Well, as far as during quarantine, and one of the things that we've talked a lot about here is about social isolation. Doesn't mean that you have to isolate yourself from your supports, your strengths, the people that you depend on. We just have to be a little creative about how we do that. Well, number one, getting outside is still a good thing as far as distance, obviously. But trying to get outside, get exercise, find new ways of exercising and keeping yourself active. But definitely the big part is keeping those connections viable. So of course, we're doing everything that we can right now with doing things over using video and connecting that way. But it's okay to pick up a phone call. We've been encouraging people, write a letter. It's kind of a lost art. Do what you can to stay connected to those supports. Talk about things. And absolutely, if you are experiencing some problems that you're really concerned about, reach out for that help and talk to somebody about it. It might be a friend, it could be clergy, Telehealth's huge, and we deliver a lot of services by telehealth, but reach out to your primary care physician or just find a behavioral health provider near you and contact them.
Absolutely. And I see on your website that visitors can seek help 24/7. And we also have your national crisis line number that we'll pipe up here in a minute. But really quick, can you talk a little bit about some of the warning signs people can look for in themselves or loved ones, whether it's substance abuse or mental health issues? Really quick.
One thing, just really quick, I would think what we want to maybe talk about is sleep changes, appetite. That's one of the things you see early in these processes. Mood changes. All of a sudden you see, and you notice in your loved ones, significant mood changes, maybe just the daily functioning, increased sensitivity things, light, sound, issues that come up, apathy, feeling disconnected, illogical thought processes, obviously. And really it's just when we talk about it, talk about any significant change in how a person goes about their daily life, and basically finding or losing joy, joy and needing to change.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I wish we definitely had more time, because a lot of the things you mentioned is a lot of the things that I know that I deal with within myself. So thank you so much for being here today with us, Jeff, and thanks for sharing those tips and that information.
I appreciate y'all.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. We are having fun. Ladies, real quick, the other day I contacted my parents who are in Texas just to check on my mom and dad, right? And my mom was like, oh, we're fine. And then she said, all right, son, what do you want? I'm like, I'm just checking on you.
Poor Quincy.
I love you. Ain't that the heart?
And that's exactly what they need to hear right now, right? And so this of course ties into what we're going to talk about next, the 1 Call a Day program. So this program is designed to help older adults feel connected kind of during this period of isolation, right? Especially those people who maybe don't have someone to talk to every day, these older adults that we know. So this program, the Cox community has stepped up. Volunteers across the country have been participating, and by calling one of these older adults every day, just 1 call a day. It's a pretty cool program, so check it out.
The loneliness is so deep, I can feel it in my bones.
My husband passed away in October, so I am by myself. It's very difficult.
I miss the people. I just miss that interaction every day. Hello.
Hi, is this Joe?
Is this Miss Lucy?
Hi, is this Patrick?
Yes, who's calling?
Hey, Patrick, this is Delvin. I'm a volunteer for Cox. I'm calling to see how you're doing today.
Oh, not too well.
Hey, Joe, this is Eric. I volunteered to check in with you. How you doing?
Oh, really? I haven't checked in since I was 16 years old. But I'm here, doing my part. I'm staying home. It's just me and my dog. Talk to her, but she doesn't talk much back.
I'm all alone. I haven't talked to anybody at all.
Tomorrow is a big day, it's my birthday. But I'll be alone. You're not really alone. I have 4 children, but none of my children live in Ohio.
I have 3 kids.
I've got like 25 grandkids.
I'm 92, so I got a whole lot of great-grandchildren.
You don't sound 92.
Don't talk too long. I'll be falling asleep.
Anytime I've had trials in my life, I've found something positive to come out of it.
Yes, Lord, the silver lining.
I wanted to say happy birthday. Oh, thank you. I was so excited to call you. I'm a blessed old lady.
I haven't talked that much for a long time to really appreciate it.
I share things with you that I haven't shared with anybody. So I don't feel like I'm all alone anymore. I want to thank you for that.
It's a brotherhood. You're not alone.
You don't know how much this means to me. Thank you, Gary. And same time tomorrow.
Same time tomorrow.
Oh,
Quincy, how are you doing?
That was such a touching segment, guys. You're right there, Quincy.
Let's give him a minute to recover, Cheryl.
Oh, all right.
We
guys.
have less than that.
Yes. Well, we're going to switch gears a little bit. So coming up next, we're going to talk about how distilleries are stepping up during the pandemic to help in a way that you might not expect. Stay with us. Welcome back to Main Street Living, guys. Hey, this next segment is pretty cool. I love how distilleries are stepping up to help out during the pandemic in ways that you might not expect.
Yeah, they're doing their best to ensure public health, public safety. And today joining us, Jeff from Seven Cave Spirits and Mark from Liberty Call Distillery. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on the call.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
All right, so I have to ask, Jeff, tell me how this started. You guys pivoted from selling alcohol to something else with alcohol in it.
Yeah, good point. So a lot of us craft distillers in San Diego and beyond, one of our absolute specialty is creating ethanol. So when the COVID crisis began building, a lot of us craft distillers had stock of just base ethanol, and we decided, the founder of Liberty Call, Bill Rogers, and I talked about, hey, we can make hand sanitizer. Well, right around that time, the FDA and the TTB got together and said, okay, we all know you guys want to make and have been making hand sanitizer. Here's the formula. So Liberty Call and Seven Caves got together. We had a little bit of neutral grain spirit, worked on it, made a batch of hand sanitizer, and it took off from there.
Wow. And then Mark, can you kind of talk about how all this distilleries came together to kind of make this a group effort to help with this public safety?
Yeah, I mean, just getting the word out there, letting everybody know through the guild and, what was going on, what they're able to do. The World Health Organization put out a recipe that we could follow and make sure that we were doing it legally, providing it to people around San Diego. And actually beyond that, we've shipped all over the country and just tried to fill the gap where, as things ran out, we just tried to fill the hole that people needed.
So can you talk about some of the places that you guys have been donating this hand sanitizer to?
Sure. We've donated to almost every food bank in San Diego. We've given it to virtually every hospital, hospice, any lab you can almost think of. We've both donated to every person that's walked to our door, both of our doors, and asked for a bottle. We've given it to them free of charge. We've also charged to some companies that can afford to pay for it, which has helped us offset, some of our expenses. Companies from, big companies such as Amazon, UPS, FedEx, the U.S. Postal Service, different hospital systems, really all over the West Coast, all over the place, Nevada, Arizona.
And what has been like the biggest, I guess, surprise or most challenging part of this pivot to making this hand sanitizer versus alcohol for you guys? I know you guys are still doing a little bit of both, right?
We are. And I think the analogy I like to draw is it's kind of like starting construction on a house and every morning not realizing if you have wood, carpenters, nails, bottle, anything that would take to build a house. We're not sure. So, I mean, the biggest challenges have been things like bottles for, plastic bottles, ethanol, sourcing ethanol. And, it's been a true exercise of a lot of our ingenuity and patience and guts and all that stuff.
Sure, true test. And maybe Mark, you can speak to this, like any rewarding moments really that have come from this specifically for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, just being able to provide it to, San Diego Police Department, Los Angeles Police Department, San Diego firefighters, Sharp Healthcare System here in San Diego. Their CEO sent a letter and personally thanked us and all his employees, thanked us for doing this and donating and, getting the word out and distributing the sanitizer. So it's been fun and rewarding, but as Jeff said, it's been challenging. I mean, trying to just source bottles to put the sanitizer in was, a whole difficult process. And then you get different size bottles. Okay, well, I have some of these, but none of these. And, they want to order gallons. We don't have gallon bottles. They want to order half gallons. We don't have half gallon bottles. And so it took a while to kind of iron out those things. But it's been fun along the way.
Are we distributing any kegs of hand sanitizer? Anyone asked for that yet?
We have sold a 55-gallon drum to a big shipyard.
That'd be the closest thing.
That is one of the most rewarding things I've I've taken out of this process is just getting to work. We're two different companies, and getting a chance to work with Liberty Call together has been really rewarding for me. I've had a great time getting to know them better, and it's been a fun process.
Sure, it's great for everyone to see too, to the community kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Just before we run out of time, I want to make sure people know where you guys are so they can go and support your businesses through this and after.
We're in, Liberty Call Distilling. We're in Barrio Logan, 1985 National Avenue. And we're there currently Wednesday to Sunday in the afternoons. We're there. Come by and pick up a free bottle of hand sanitizer. That location is a Distillery restaurant tasting room that we're opening. So as soon as restaurants can reopen, we'll be there more often. But for now, like I said, we're there Wednesday through Sunday handing out sanitizer. Come on by.
For free, all right.
Yep.
It's located in Miramar, California. San Diego, California, Miramar Road. We're open 5 days a week right now. Find the information on our website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mark, Jeff, for joining us. We really appreciate what you guys are doing for the community, and we appreciate having you on today.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Hey guys, Danielle, I know you and I don't have kids, but Quincy, you've probably had to try to teach at home a little bit, right?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I'm considered like a PE teacher. My wife does all the teaching. Yes. Ironically, there's a lot of concern right now about the learning loss of kids as a result of being out of school. And actually here to help us and parents avoid that is Gwen and also Sadie from the Huntington Learning Center. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Now, Sadie, you're the director there at the Learning Center. What are you seeing out there, and what are some of the researchers saying about the learning loss situation?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a huge talking point right now as far as, parents concerned about the type of learning loss. I mean, normally we see that, original just summer slide, but now we're kind of talking as educators more about a COVID slide and what that really means. There's been a recent survey done from NWEA that projects that most students that have been out of school for this length of time are only going to retain about 70% of their reading progress and even less than 50% of what they learned in math this year.
Yeah, and that's a lot alarming, but what can parents do, Gwen, regarding these statistics?
Well, the most important thing is that parents, can do is to keep their kids really engaged with their learning process. Most parents have never, had to teach from home or homeschool. And so this is really a new thing. And many of these parents too are also working from home. So it's, really hard to balance both trying to get your work done and trying to help the kids learn and making sure that everything stays on track. So really we're looking at, different resources and really some ways to have some fun learning too. So there's a lot of great ideas out there for kids, and Huntington can help fill that space too over the summer by different resources such as we have a reading adventure, and then we also of course have in-center tutoring, and we do offer online tutoring too, which is really a one-to-one though, just like being in the center. The only difference is we used to have a screen between us instead of necessarily sitting side by side.
Yeah, and I have an only child, so she doesn't have any brothers or sisters. So, it's been mom and dad, getting on the floor and playing, but also, helping her with the schoolwork and her teachers, like they've been doing this whole virtual thing. So I know one of the things parents can do is kind of involve your children in what you may do at home. As well. And so I may edit video. And so I taught her the other day how to edit video. Are there any other tips that parents can do to kind of, welcome their kids and so we can both be in the same worlds during this crazy time?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of great ideas that you can, have fun with your kids too while learning. We always talk sometimes about like even cooking, there could be some great math lessons of how to measure, how to cut down recipes, but also on our website, which is huntingtonhelps.com, there are a lot of resources for parents, which is, there are podcasts they can watch. There are different webinars that they can get engaged with. We do have blogs, especially for parents that maybe have children, with ADD or ADHD. So a lot of different resources along with the reading adventure for parents to check out.
Okay. All right. Well, and I know that that's probably me as well, the ADHD thing, like my kid can't focus and I can't focus either as the parent. So I do the best I can. But before we go really quick, I see that you're running a special for first responders of free evaluation and 2 free sessions. Speak a little bit about that before we go.
Yes. Of course, we really want to help out the first responders. I know a lot of them certainly are taxed a lot by, having to work and worry about everything that's going on at their work. So we want to help their kids out. And so right now we're offering a free academic evaluation, and this could be for any of our services, not just the Learning Center. We do a lot of ACT, SAT, high school placement test for the evaluation, and then 2 free sessions.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, very much. And thank you for what you're doing to keep the parents and the kids engaged during this time. And we certainly look forward for more from the Learning Center here. Appreciate you being on the show.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. I know during this quarantine, a lot of us have been missing travel, but our next guest, who is actually a travel blogger and influencer, has learned about this in a whole new way. So let's bring in Alyssa Ramos. And Alyssa, you are coming to us from Spain, where you actually just moved right before the whole lockdown started. Wow. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been definitely very interesting being abroad during this whole situation.
I can't imagine. I mean, what is it like in Spain? I've heard that the restrictions have been a lot more strict than in some places in the United States.
Oh, it's actually the strictest in the world. And it's been this way for 2 months. We actually spent 47 days in strict mandatory home confinement, which means no walks or exercise outside unless you're going to go get groceries. So we did that for 47 days. And then we were finally allowed outside for exercise, but we still are in phase 0, which means we can only go out during certain time frames each day.
I can't imagine how difficult this must be for somebody like you who's always on the go and to have to sit still and stay inside. What have you been doing to try to be creative and stay entertained?
So luckily, as a travel blogger and influencer, my main job is to create content, which I've been able to do. Luckily that I found a nice place here in Barcelona with a great view. So I've been getting some work done, but it has been very difficult to stay in one place.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad that you've been able to do some stuff inside, and the travel industry in general. I mean, it's changed and hopefully not forever, but what has been your perspective on how COVID-19 has affected travel?
It's really shocking because everyone loves to travel. And right now it seems the main thing is people are either extremely eager to get traveling again, or some people are actually afraid to travel in the future, which is very scary for the entire tourism industry.
And for you personally, when do you think you're going to be able to get back on the road or on an airplane again?
I've been honestly waiting for them to give me the green light to go. And as soon as I get the green light, I'm going. So as soon as they tell me I'm allowed outside the borders of Spain, I'm going to go along the coast. I'm going to go to other European countries. And then as soon as flights are opened up again, I'll probably head somewhere in Africa or maybe even Asia.
Oh my gosh. And is it true that you've been to all 7 continents?
Yes, 7 continents and 104 countries and counting.
This is incredible. I like to travel myself. I've only been to 30 some countries, and I thought that was a lot.
So good.
But
That's good.
wow, I mean, you are doing incredible. And I have to ask, Antarctica, how do you even get there? And what did you do?
Antarctica is probably the #1 bucket list destination I have. And to this day, one of the most amazing moments of my life. You fly down to Ushuaia at the very, very tip of South America, and then you have to take a boat for 2 days across the most dramatic passage of the sea in the world, which is the Drake Passage. And then you're able to go to the continent, see all the penguins like you're seeing here. It's truly incredible. It's so pristine and untouched, and there's just no humans, there. Well, now it used to be a whaling industry, but I mean, we went paddleboarding and there was whales breaching next to us. There's killer whales, there's seals. It was fascinating.
How do you even afford to travel the world like this and to get to somewhere like Antarctica? I mean, as a travel blogger, do you have sponsors?
Yes. So travel blogging and influencing has been my full-time job for the past 7 years. The first 2 years of it, I was not making money. So I was side hustling as a virtual assistant and a writer for years to pay for my own trips. And then now most of my trips are fully sponsored, which means either they're free or more ideally, they're paid on top of it for the work that we do to create the content and promote it to our audiences.
And what's next for you? I mean, I know you said you want to go to certain places, but do you have any bucket list items left that you haven't been to?
For sure. I was supposed to go in June. I'm just going to delay it. Whenever I can go, I'll go again. I'm going to go gorilla trekking in Uganda, Rwanda, and DR Congo. And then later in the year, hopefully I'll be able to do Everest Base Camp, because I've just done Kilimanjaro. And then I would like to finish all of the countries in South America, get to Venezuela safely to see Angel Falls. And then I have another random bucket list, which is to see the top cultural festivals in the world. So things like Holi in India, and of course Carnival in Rio, and things like that.
Well, good for you. You're such an inspiration to so many people. And I'm hoping that COVID-19, we can just get this to go away so everybody can get their lives back and you can start traveling the world again. Where can people follow you?
My website is mylifesamovie.com. It has mostly travel tips, a ton of guides, and a ton of free itineraries, all very detailed, especially beneficial if you're a solo traveler trying to plan a trip. And then my Instagram is My Life's a Travel Movie, and that's where all of my photography and behind the scenes content is.
Well, I'm definitely following you now. Thank you again,
Thank
Alyssa.
you.
Such a pleasure. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Okay, so I'm wondering if either of you or any of our viewers noticed that I was wearing two watches for just about the entire show until the last segment. And
baller move, Cheryl. Baller move.
That's what happens during quarantine. I didn't even realize I was wearing two watches. How does that happen?
Most of us are losing track of time, and you are on top of it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Neither one of the watches have the correct time. They both have dead batteries. So what's wrong with me?
Yeah, well, you're two-timing it, Cheryl. So just keep it up. Okay.
I'm starting a trend. So if you didn't notice, go back and rewind it and rewatch and see if you spot the double watch.
Nice.
We should hide Easter eggs in the shows every week. There should be Easter eggs every week. Good job, Cheryl.
Yeah, somebody else should do something next week. What do you want to do next? Like, what should we watch out for?
I'm gonna try to remove something from this area and see if anybody notices.
There you go. Okay.
I'm gonna take off one of the limbs on this tree right here, and I'll see.
No, not the
notices.
peace tree, not Doctor. We named the tree Doctor. What did you name the tree? Dr. Kim. Okay.
Dr. Kim is what I named the tree.
Why does the tree have a name? Why does the tree have a name?
Cheryl, you were there for this.
Memory loss. I don't know. It's the COVID memory.
Let's just say thank you.
Yeah. Now that it's time, it's
thank
time
you guys.
to go.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching our show this week. We love spending time with you guys each week. So thank you.
Absolutely. And make sure you join us 9 p.m. local time on Mondays to catch all new episodes as we take our stroll down Main Street. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.